Hello again, Drew Boston with Atlas Injury Prevention Solutions. We're in the law offices of Tucker Ahrensberg. I'm visiting today with Albert Lee, our labor law attorney. In our last visit, you introduced the concept of essential functions. As I understand it, the EEOC is the regulatory agency within the federal government that oversees the hiring process. The EEOC, speak to a host of elements related to this discussion of essential functions. Explain those to me.
The idea of an essential job function is really critical under the ADA. The Americans with Disabilities Act uses that phrase to both be a gateway to the protections under the law, but also define one of the protections that you get. One of the common misunderstandings about the ADA is that it entitles everybody with a disability to a fair shake at every job. That's just not true. If that were the case, a major airline would have to hire a blind pilot. What prevents an airline from having to do that is the additional qualifier, is you have to be disabled, but that disability cannot prevent you from doing the essential functions of the job. And therefore, the importance of understanding really what that is. So what an essential job function is the core part of the job, the removal of which would change the character of the job at all, would rob that job of its essence. So if you're working on a warehouse shipping dock, the essential job function is to be able to get the product on and off trucks. The fact that you may occasionally have to roll a 55-gallon drum of something as a peripheral part of your job isn't an essential job function. So the second part of it is the idea of using an essential job function to define one of the things that you get once you're protected. So if you can mostly do the job and a small tweak would allow you to do the essential job functions, an employer may have an obligation to provide a reasonable accommodation, one that typically doesn't cost too much. A reasonable accommodation would allow you to do the essential functions of the job. So the big picture here is if you're a person who has a disability, but the disability isn't so disabling that you are unable to do the essential job functions without a reasonable tweak or another, you should have the same shot at that job under the ADA than someone who doesn't have that disability or doesn't need that accommodation.